Um, so first of all, happy Juma Mubarak, Shalom Shabbat. Um, those of you that's coming from the motherland, Hotep, um, Shalom Alaikum, Assalamu Alaikum, Black Power, all that good stuff. So what's up, y'all? If you just from the culture, you know what I mean? No school of thought. What up, though? Right. So last week on Friday, um, I did a lecture called "The Black Woman is the Mother of Islam," which was part one. And this slide right here was pretty much the recap of it. You have Hagar, who is an Egyptian woman from the Bible, who was Abraham's wife. Um, he has his first child with her, this Egyptian woman, who is Ishmael. Ishmael, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is said to have his direct lineage to Ishmael. Hagar, if in the story of the Bible, has this spring appears out of the blue in this desert, which today is considered the Zamzam well. And basically, since she is the mother of the patriarch of Islam, Ishmael, then she's the mother of Islam. Okay. And even what's known as the Hijri calendar, that word is Hagar, HJR, which the G and the J is interchangeable, as I showed last week. So the Hijri calendar and the Hijra, which means to migrate, all of those have the same root word of Hagar. Okay, so even the calendar, which we know in Islam, we have a lunar calendar, and the lunar body has always been synonymous with the feminine, as the sun has always been synonymous with the masculine. Okay. So we also discovered last show too that the oldest university in the world is in Fez, Morocco, and it was founded by a woman of African descent, Sister Fatima, or Fatima, if you want to say it that way. So she's the mother of knowledge. All right. Again, this university is like 1,166 years old this year. It's still in operation. Okay. And so she's like the mother of knowledge. So just to give you a recap of part one. Okay. So today we're going to get into give you a quick brief introduction of a few people. You have Luna of Cordova, Nazun of Granada, Hafsa of Granada, and Walada of Cordova. So Cordova and Granada, Spain, these provinces under Moorish Spain had they really had it popping. All right, three of them we're gonna get into today. Just real brief, give you a quick little introduction of them. Then we're gonna segue into more of the metaphysical aspect of some things. All right. So, I mean, they had literary salons, especially Walada. Walada is a piece of work, man. She is a piece of work. But Google these women and do some research and read up on these women, and you will see for yourself. All right. But they had literary salons where you go, you get your hair done, you get all beautified. But hey, we're gonna read and we're gonna talk about knowledge and how education, in the sense how knowledge could better how can best be used in society to improve society, to improve the welfare of others. You know what I'm saying? These are women of African descent that's getting it in. All right. All right. So just to give you kind of an overlook, you see Cordova in orange, you see Granada more in that bluish green at the more of the in the bottom. All right. So to give you an idea what regions we're talking about, if you don't know geographically, in Seville had it popping as well, for sure, for sure. Okay. But all southern Spain was known as Andalusia. All right. But Granada and Cordova are really some main hubs. All right. Um, this is going to come up a little later, but this is important too because Islam spreads through what's known as the Maghreb in northern Africa. And then where the circle is, that's what we just saw. That's Spain. That's more Spain where the circle is, right a little bit north of Morocco. Okay. But this area is going to become a little bit important a little later. All right. All right. So let's get in Walada. All right. She's interesting, man. She has a lover. All right. And Ibn Zadun is her lover. Okay. And she's mad at Ibn Zabdun because He being Romeo, and he's actually messing with a slave girl. Okay, not slave as in chattel slavery, more of a servant. Okay, and she gets mad at him and whatnot. And she ended up getting with his opposition. In politics, she ended up riding with the dude who was opposing him, and then the guy that was opposing him ended up taking some of his property. So it got vicious. It was some what we call Igga stuff. It was some Igga stuff going on back then. All right. Here's a poem. Well, before I get into the poem, here's another rendition of Walada and Ibn Zadun, where of course everybody is depicted in an Indo-European version. All right. But the black man, Ibn Zadun, here is clearly depicted as a brother. Okay. So here's a poem. Excuse me. Had you had any respect for love, for the love between us, you would not choose that slave of mine to love. Now, some translations say black. All right. From a branch flowering in beauty, you turn to a branch that bears no fruit. You know, I am the moon at full. Listen to her. You know, I am the moon at full. But worse luck for me, it's Jupiter you have fallen for. Is not Jupiter, I'm sorry, is not luck a key word for Jupiter? Look at her astro knowledge. But worse luck for me, it's Jupiter you have fallen for. They call you a hexagon, an epithet properly yours, even after you drop dead. Pederast, pimp, adulterer, gigolo, cuckold, cheat. I'm just a gigolo spending lots of dough. This is old Morris stuff. All right. So she dropping bars on them, right? Now, when we get into Lubna of Cordoba, and again, this is just short introductions. I'm dropping names so y'all can go do the research, right? She's a scholar, she's a poet, she's a mathematician, and she works in the Royal Library. Okay. She's like the chief copyist in the Royal Library. All right. So look into her. Hafsa, also a poet and teacher, but she's also in love with someone, a male figure, who she too end up getting with his opposition, and then that became some problems. Okay. So this is a poem called Speaking to Lightning. Speak to lightning, a memento of my beloved, plunging into still dark. If he remembers how he thundered me, gave my heart a beating, a raining of blows. In other words, are you telling me Hosford? He was clapping them cheeks. That's what you're saying. So poetically, clapping them cheeks more Spain, right? But in elegance, right? So look into her because she was again a poet and teacher as well. All right. Here go about 10 people real fast, women, all women of African descent who was getting it in. So we see Walada, Lubna, the number 3 sub, right? The wife of the Caliph Al Hakam II. She was known for her influence in the country and scholarly activities, fostering the culture and learning in the palace. Hafsa, we just saw, she was from Granada. She maintained a circle of poets and intellectuals, right, including her romantic and literary exchanges with the poet Abu Jafar ibn Sa'id. Zainab, known as the last queen of Granada, Zainab engaged in intellectual discussions and fostered scholarly activities in her court during the final years of An Andalus. Okay. Aisha Bint Ahmad, a poet and scholar from Cordoba. She was celebrated for her poetry and intellect, attracting scholars to her circle. You got Nazun. She was witty, satirical poet from Granada. She is remembered for her intellectual and literary gatherings. Fatima Al-Fahiri, who we know is the founder of the oldest university, Al-Qarawin in Fez, Morocco. Her family Andalusian origins connected her with intellectual circles of Al-Andalus. Maria de Cordoba was a Christian convert to Islam. She was known for her poetry and intellectual gatherings in Cordoba during the Caliphate period. And our last one was, we're gonna call her Ramika, but Rumakaya, the wife of Al Mutamid, the poet king of Seville. It's funny because Cadillac sedan DeVille's, and then we start rubbing like the pimps ride the Sevilles, right? But anyway, she was deeply engaged in the literary activities, supporting and hosting poetic and scholarly exchanges. Okay, so again, a very rich culture, 10 people right there, all women coming together for the sake of intellectual growth. All right, and growth in society. All right. All right. So, but it wasn't only Moorish women. Here is Kasmuna. She's half Jew and half Muslim, right? Like I always say, I'm like, my mother's Jewish and my mother's a Jewish descent and my dad is a Muslim descent. But anyway, Kasmuna, her father writes Arabic and obviously Hebrew because he's Jewish, right? But Kasmuna was a poet as well. And so you had some Jewish female scholars that was putting in work at this same time because they live in the exact same provinces. And I always say, remember that the Jewish golden age occurs within the Islamic golden age. Okay. When the Moors were in power, the Jews will experience their golden age in Spain. Okay. Now, here's one for the record books. Write this one down. Al Kahina, the warrior queen of the Berbers from 668 to 703. She's literally a warrior queen, and really Viola Davis, woman queen, should have did this one. She should have did her, right? And here's a statue of her. And remember, she's the warrior queen of the Berbers, which are originally Africans from this region right here before the migration of the Arabs come into and we start intermixing. She is whipping the boys from Islam's behind. And then ultimately she gets killed in a battle. Again, this is Al Kahina. Okay. So that's something to know. All right. So strong feminine, in this case, strong masculine presence. All right. Now, we've all heard of Timbuktu. Okay. Tim is said to mean a meeting place. Okay. Timbuktu is the home of, or become very popular from, Mansa Musa, right? So Tim is the meeting place. Here go Bucktu. This Big Mama Bucktu. So when we praise Big Mama, this Big Mama Bucktu, because Bucktu is the name of the woman who was watching the meeting place. So when they started to develop Timbuktu, they had a local who basically was the security watching over the place, and it was Big Mama Bucktu. Okay, so let's salute Big Mama Bucktu. All right, so that Timbuktu is, man, that's beautiful because this becomes, homage to a feminine elder. All right. Now, in Timbuktu, the mosque is said to have been erected in 988, which is the Sankor Mosque. The mosque later becomes a place of a university. And this is what the record said. Around the 14th century, a wealthy Malayan woman whose name is not recorded is credited with endowing, meaning dropping off that bankroll, the Sankor Mosque with significant resources. She provided funding for the construction and the initial development of the institution, which later became a hub of education. Okay. So now we have an unknown woman who was dropping money to build a university in Timbuktu, carrying on the lineage of Big Mama Bucktu, just the feminine energy of being present in this, really this miraculous place, right? So that's phenomenal. Okay. Little Black history to know. All right. Woo. Now, it is said, it is said that a West African proverb reads, "Salt comes from the north, gold from the south, and silver from the country of the white men," which they said was Moorish Spain. "But the word of God and the treasures of wisdom are only to be found in Timbuktu." Okay. Again, Mansa Musa would be at this place. So just to kind of give us an idea on the world scale, we know that Al Qarawin is founded in 859. Big Mama Bucktu, far as the masjid goes in Sankore, the Sankore Masjid is 988. That's like exactly 100. Timbuktu is actually 100 years. Sankore is actually 100 years older than the first European university. The first European university is in Italy in 1088 at what's known as the University of Bologna. Okay, that's 29 years after Fatima Fahiri already established Al Qarawin in Fez, Morocco. So we 100 to 230 years almost ahead of European style university. Now, what I was going to say was, when it comes to the University of Sankore, it's not a university that give degrees. Okay. Gotta keep this cold hot. Hold on. So it's not a university that give degrees. It's a university like all of us. We'll go. Jew will come, bring his people. He'll come, and various teachers, mystics, philosophers, doctors, even, they will bring their supporters, their students with them and do their thing. And I really got that vision in my head. I've been kind of sitting on that one for a minute, was to grab a space. Because I remember when we was doing when I first started doing lectures in 06, 07, right? I was like, man, this really could be the hub where, it just keep coming through, and then, you start building off that particular place right there. All right. But that's how Timbuktu was. All right. So it wasn't a university like European standard type university, which I think this version is way better. All right. All right. So let's get into some science, because it's about to get a little interesting here. Now, this comes from the Quran. It says, "Until the believing women to reduce some of their vision and guard their private parts and not expose their adornment, except that which is necessarily appears thereof, and to wrap a portion of their head covers over their chests and not expose their adornment, i.e., beauty, except to their husbands, their fathers, their husbands' fathers, their sons." And this goes within the whole family line, where when you safe amongst family, go ahead and uncover. I'm going to show you something, so please stick with me, because this is going to be very interesting. Okay. So here in the Quran is saying, hey, take your head cover and cover your bosom. Okay. All right. Well, the word is known as kimar. Yes. That's why you see at the bottom in the rectangle head covers, chapter 24. Chapter 24 is called the light, which, when you start talking about light, it gets real spiritual. Okay. But also, another word for kimar is wine, or something that intoxicates you. Okay. Well, it was talking about taking your head cover, your kimar, cover your bosom, cover your breasts. But the word also means intoxicants or wine. But we see this in the cultural expression anyway. Let's not act like we don't go to hold on, y'all. Let me tighten up this microphone. Let's not act like we don't go to strip clubs and have a drink and get intoxicated while we looking at some, tatas. Right? That happens. Absolutely. So then when you in that drunken state, then or better yet, see women, and I know y'all know, come on, man, it take y'all 5 hours to get dressed. So within your 5 hours of getting dressed, and maybe I'm exaggerating a tad bit, but I think it's 5 hours. The 5 hours that it takes for you to get dressed, that's hypnotic. You are a walking magician. You're putting people in a daze. And you're going to see this because I'm going to show you something in a minute. You be putting people in a daze with your beauty. All right. So your beauty is intoxicating. And the Quran knows this. And it's telling you to, hey, watch out. I'm going to show you in a minute. Watch out, because this can create people. It's not you creating a problem. I want to be very clear. The average person in society, the average masculine energy in society, that can create danger because he's not well equipped to deal with you. Okay? I want to be clear. I'm not blaming the feminine for nothing. In fact, it's about protecting the woman. Okay? Now, I always put this slide here just in case you're new to me, because what I'm about to show you on what these letters mean, Kimar, head covering, this wisdom has already been explained in both the Hebrew and the Arabic, that these letters actually contain meanings. Okay. All right. So what is Kimar? The Kaf, or the KH sound, means hidden knowledge, secrets of the universe, and symbolizes protection. Literally, that's the definition for Kaf. Symbolizes protection. The second letter, meme, is water. Water has always been synonymous with the feminine. Water in her womb, the juicy juice, right? Water breaks. Yes. So water has always been considered the feminine aspect. The Ra at the end symbolizes the head. Okay. So what do it mean? Protect the feminine head. That's literally what Kimar means. Kimar means protect the feminine head. Literally. Okay. Now, Ra also means sun, and sun is masculine. So now you're protecting the feminine from the masculine. I don't know how I didn't put that there, but Ra, Resh means, in Hebrew is Resh, sun, head. Sun is masculine. Okay. You can look it up and see, do the Hebrew letter Resh equals the sun, and you'll see it does. Okay. Now, here's one. O prophet, another verse. Tell your wives and your daughters and the women of the believers to bring down over themselves part of their outer garments. That is more suitable, that they will be known and not be abused. Yusuf Ali translation says, O prophet, tell the wives and daughters and the believing women that they should cast their outer garments over their persons when abroad. That is most convenient, that they should be known as much and not molested. Okay. All right. So now, what is this word that they use? In the square that you see, the rectangle, it's the jalabiyah. Well, jalabiyah is those three letters at the top. But look at the word above it. What do that mean? That same word, that same root word, jalib, J-L-B, means to assault. But it also means outer garment. You see what I'm saying? So I'm about to prove to you, Arabic is the words carry the extreme opposite meanings. In other words, a word could mean protection and assault at the same time. And you'd be like, what? Wait a minute, which one is it? So that one word represents duality, literally the definitions of two opposing things. And I'm going to show you one of the most striking ones in this culture. Okay. So the jalabiyah, keep that in mind. It means assault. Okay. All right. So the gene represents the moon, and we know the moon is feminine. The lamb equals Libra, which governs what? Relationships, which governs what? Libra is also harmony, balance, and divine order. The B, the Ba, is the duality and power of creation, or in this case, the feminine aspect of creation. So the Jalabia simply is the outer garment that covers the feminine power of creation to keep divine order by what? Preventing assault. Because remember, Jalabia means assault. You see? So the very principles are in the actual word that's being walked out in real time. Literally, the letters mean the physical thing. And that's the beauty thing, because see, in English, if I again always say, I mean, even if I say love, Love, what do L mean? Nothing. In our world, what's the O? Nothing. What's V? The Roman numeral 5. What's E? Nothing. It just it has nothing. It has no substance. Okay. Not over here. Now, the Holy Quran absolutely is the book of polarity. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. So when you see these contradictions in China, we say, oh, this is the sun, light, warm, aggressive. The light. The darkness is the moon, cool, passive. It's opposite. Okay. Receiving meaning negative, positive meaning outgoing. The Holy Quran is full of this beautiful duality. It's teaching you, I ain't gonna say the Chinese philosophy and all these schools of thought, and this is why I love how I do it. All of these schools of thoughts are saying the same thing. All right. All right. So now here's the ultimate aspect of duality. Wait a minute. Before I get here, I think I'm spelling. Hold on. Before I get into that, hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Because remember, we want to talk about that jalabia in protection from assault. So let me do this. Let me do this. Show you how real this is. Hello. Excuse me. Everybody gonna be looking at that ass. Let's see what this one dude say. Look at that ass. Hey, mommy. I'm watching that ass. That dude said I'm watching that ass. It's intoxicating. They mesmerized. This person blows the horn. I love you. Watch what this one dude say. You blow a kiss, whistle. See that? Look what this dude said. I lick putty cat. That's what he said. Okay. Now, let me speed it up some. She got followed. People had to stop the dude. Ain't nobody looking back at that booty. Ain't nobody whistling. Not a word for men. Yep. Nobody saying nothing. Nobody looking at the booty. Nobody turning their head. See? So when the Quran says the jalabiyah means assault, see, I think battery is when you physically touch somebody. You can assault people with words, right? So it's clearly talking about what you just saw. It already has a knowledge how the masculine species works. You will get followed home. Women, y'all don't be seeing men. I don't believe that. I already know. Man, I saw him. Women don't see men. Brother, she saw you already. That's some bull. That's cat. You don't know that a man saw you go in the store and he gonna be waiting in the parking lot or try to spin that aisle to catch you in that aisle just to say something to you. He see you. He plotting on you. And I ain't saying plotting in a bad way, right? He just want to take his shot. The Quran knows this already. So it's talking about a level of protection so you won't be abused. Ain't got nothing to do with no subjugation. Nothing. Okay? All right. All right. So let's get into this. Show you this beautiful aspect of duality, right? Now, in Arabic, there's something known as halal. Eat halal foods. Haram is supposed to be no, pork, right? Just doing things that are, sinful in a sense. It's harmful. Haram. Haram means no. Okay? Watch this. Haram means no, but what's the name of the place every year that millions, some say 7 million, Muslims go to make Hajj where the Kaaba is? What's the name of the masjid? The name of the holy masjid in Islam is called Masjid Haram. You think I'm lying? What do the scriptures say? So from wherever you go out for prayer, O Muhammad, turn your face toward Al Masjid Al Haram. That's what it says. The other translation says, turn thy face in the direction of the sacred mosque. Sacred mosque? Haram? Yeah, I thought haram was a no-no. Well, let's look at the definitions. Let me blow it up. That verse was in 2:149, Al-Haram. Look at the bottom. It means sacred. Look at the top. Forbidden. Prohibit. You see? So this is what I mean, and this is why I had the Chinese yin yang symbol there, because one word represents sacred, but on the extreme other side, it gives you its negative, which is forbidden. The word means both. You see what I'm saying? So it's giving you duality, aka the law of polarity. I'm gonna do a lecture on the Kabbalion, the 7 universal laws, and how every single one is in the Quran. Right now, we on law 2, week 2, law 2, that deals with the law of correspondence. If you already started to read it, you see where it said that it has 7 heavens, and then each heaven has 7 under them. Does not the Quran says Allah is the creator of the 7 heavens? Do it not say that? It says that. I'm going to show you each law in the Quran. It's the same universal wisdom everywhere. Okay? All right? So that's really it, man. I just want to show y'all that duality, but show you the power of these words, the protection of the feminine. It then give you some history on some beautiful women who were making major contributions throughout African, what we know as the Maghreb, and then also more Spain. All right. So look, Today is the last day for all three of these classes as a one-time fee for $97. Today is the last day of light, as we call it. Those of you in the Patreon, make sure that midnight, you make midnight count. Make sure I showed you where the moon was. So make sure it counts. All right. Moon, Jupiter. We saw that in the poem of Walada, the moon and Jupiter. Moon and Jupiter alignment tonight. Tonight is a very powerful astronomical alignment. And if I dare think I'm hearing any Eastern Muslims, your whole calendar is based off a lunar system, which is based off astronomy. All right, which means your customs is based off of astronomical alignment. So don't get mad at me because I know astronomical alignments. Okay, but make tonight count. All right, and again, that's over here at nobleampucourses.com. Nobleampucourses.com. See my name right there, nobleampucourses.com. All three courses for one price, $97, lifetime access. But be ye forewarned, the way the modules are set up, if it's another like part 2, part 3, you can't get to those parts unless you score 100%. So you get one wrong, you got to start the whole module all over again. Why? Because this ain't no play stuff. This is real stuff. You should know this stuff if you're gonna, go through this school of thought that we could be talking about perfection. All right. These are universal laws. This is the law of creation that God has ordained, right? So for us to know the laws is to know God. Okay. So it ain't no, my bad, I didn't know. No. I ain't know that. No. Because see, when you really get into this, if you make the wrong diagnosis on something, that could be fatal how far you deal with it. Because in the old school system, it was something called arithromathematics, which was known as medical astrology. They look at the time that you were born and look at the planets and then understand planets are associated with diseases. Okay. They said, hey, Aries is the muscular system. The 12 signs is bodily systems. Pisces could be the lymphatic system. Capricorn is the skeletal system. Leo is the cardiovascular system. Cancer is lymphatic system. Taurus is the endocrine system, rules the thyroid. Gemini, respiratory system. Virgo, digestive system. Libra, the urinary system. Scorpio, reproductive system. Sex, Scorpio, reproductive system. These are systems in the body that corresponds with the heavenly bodies. That's why I wear this 6-pointed star, as above, so below, and can prove it, right? So we're made one of the same, right? I keep saying astrocytes. These are cells in your brain. They look like stars. Pyramidal cells. Cells in the brain that look like pyramids. The pyramids on Earth point to the stars, but it's an internal process that's here as well. So to know these laws, to work within these laws, because you can only work within them, but gross ignorance of the law could have you in some form of adversity that you don't necessarily desire consciously. You don't desire to be in that particular thing. Okay. So absolutely perfection. I would start with when you come in, start with the 4 elements. It's more simple. There's no levels to it, but that is the building blocks, because when you understand elements like elementary school, the elements is the building blocks before you go off to high school, 11th grade, 10th grade, 12th grade. Then you go off to the universe, right? So the elementary school is the basic building blocks, because all of the other energies are composed of the basic building blocks. So start right there within the elements, and then pick if you're going to come to Hebrew or if you're going to come over to, the total astral science. But start with the 4 elements, because you can't know the Hebrew letters also correspond with the celestial phenomenon. There's 22 letters in Hebrew. 3 letters are considered mother letters: Aleph, air; Mem, water; Shin, fire. There's no letter for earth, because you are the earth. We are the earth, on earth, where everything is taking place at. Volcanoes, fire come out the earth. There's oceans, water on the earth. There's wind on the earth. So we are the earth. Okay. Then you have 7 letters that correspond with the 7 visible planets with the naked eye: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. And these are 7 days of the week. The remaining 12 planets correspond to the 12 constellations, i.e., zodiac signs, in which the Quran says a few things, but the Quran says the number of months according to Allah is 12. Okay. So now we got that. Now, the Arabic has 28 letters. That's a moon cycle. In fact, their letters, 14 are considered moon letters, and the other 14 are considered sun letters. So the letters is a cosmic phenomenon. And out of those 28 letters, 22 of those are the exact same from Hebrew, because Arabic comes out of the Hebrew known as a Semitic language. So the remaining 6 letters takes you deeper into different aspects of mysteries. But if you can master the Hebrew letters, you done mastered the Arabic letters, because you only got basically 6 more to learn. Okay. All right. So even to know these letters, they go to a certain cosmic function in the universe. So therefore, you start with the elements so you can know the basics of energy. Because a zodiac sign, i.e., Aquarius, is an air sign. Gemini, air, right? We can reduce all of the zodiac signs to an element. So now the element is the predominant thing. So you got the air team, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You got the fire team, Sag, Aries, Leo. You got the earth team, Taurus, Virgo, Cap. And then you got the water team, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Okay. So all of these get reduced down into these 4 teams. And then we got all of the zodiac signs, 3 signs per element. Okay. And so now this translates to mental disposition and personality types, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Easy. Fire, enthusiastic, outgoing, passionate, right? Air, communication, ideas, compliments, fire. They're very similar. It's more what we call yang, outgoing. Earth, stable, practical, a little bit more slow in their approach. Ain't all, ooh, you know what I mean? Take your time, slow it down. Give me the numbers type of thing. A little bit more analytical in the sense in their approach. Their demeanor is a little bit slower, meaning grounded, right? Water, more nurturing, poetic / what we call intuitive. Those 2 go. So now we can actually reduce those 2 sides of fire and air, earth and water, into what we call polarity, feminine and masculine. Don't mean a woman, don't mean a man. It means active and passive, plus and minus, electro and magnetic, outgoing, receiving. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So once we know these in that sense, then you get to start to see it in personality types, behavior. And to me, this is what the Kabbalion shows you: mystic psychology. Okay. All right. So I got to get out of here, man. Hope y'all enjoyed today's Kuba. I appreciate y'all, because this is a private recording. So big salute to y'all that come on here and y'all get to see it before it actually posts to the public, because I need y'all for sound check and whatnot. Right. But I appreciate y'all, man. Happy Friday. Stay connected to the Patreon, because it's going to be some things. Obviously, you know me. I'll post something like last night. I happened to look in the sky like, oh yeah, take a picture. Hey, y'all, pay attention, right? So you got to be with me and paying attention to these alerts. So make sure that you got the app and your notifications is on. All right, man. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.